clothing can come from, two big, broad, general categories. One is animal or plant, and the other is petrochemicals. So most of our clothing now comes from the fossil fuel industry. So if you buy any clothing that is acrylic or nylon or anything like that, that is a product of fossil fuels, and that will break down in a landfill similar to the plastic bottle. So if you're throwing away your clothes, it's just like throwing away a plastic bottle. Some slight differences, but it actually creates a very large problem with plastics in microplastics and that sort of thing. On the other hand, we have clothing that has been the way that we do clothing for a very long time, since forever. And that comes from natural sources such as, your plants and your animals. And there are a lot of people who are really talented at doing this. We've met a lot of people who are making their own clothes. What if we pulled them together in a cohort and had people that were more experienced, maybe share some of their experience with people who aren't as experienced, and just see if anybody would be interested in creating their own clothing.
The project was such a journey of like learning everything about where fabric comes from and like what you wanted to do. And like at the beginning, I mean, some of my like drawings and of what I wanted to do, like I've always been a sewer and a textile person, but like just learning where fabric comes from was like oh wow, like this takes so long. So I had to like rein it in a little bit, and I purchased this Shetland like locally spun wool, because I was like, I just need to get started. Like wow, if I spin my whole sweater, which some people did do, I just was like more novice in the spinning category. So I had to like, I ended up using leather for my bottoms and sewing the bottoms.
I was approached about this project. It was completely my jam. I've been dyeing fiber with natural materials for my whole life practically, and collecting botanical stuff, drying it, using it in my work. We came up with the idea of doing a gardening outfit. And so this was the first sketch that I kind of came up with. Mm-hmm. And so we spent a year. So what we wanted was a simple kind of tunic form. Mm-hmm. And foraging bags, things where you could harvest your peas, you could harvest your seeds, you could harvest. And so we spent a year really, I mean, designers, are all about refining the design. It's kind of amazing. We just kept coming back to that tunic. And this is what our project looks like.
There are 3 other fiber sheds that have just launched their own projects now based on this model loosely. I mean, everybody's doing their own thing and, is excited about what works for their people. So it's really cool to see. I think the more people who are making their own clothes, it makes me so happy.